Drum for the Song podcast.
Welcome to episode 6 of Drum for the Song podcast. I am your host, Dane Campbell, and today my special guest is the incredibly talented Ash Sheehan. Ash plays drums for the voice of rock Glenn Hughes, plays drums for the Twang, but he also plays drums and takes the frontman and lead vocal role in his own band, the Dead Sea Skulls. I had a truly fascinating conversation with Ash. He talks about his Irish traveller family roots and how his family got him into playing music at a very, very young age. You'll find out in a minute. He talks about his love for Buddy Rich and some other inspirations. He also told me some great stories about how he got the Glenn Hughes job and what it was like headlining festivals with him. Basically, he is a super entertaining man, and you need to listen to his words of wisdom. Let me know if you're listening to this via my social media pages at Drum for the Song on Twitter and Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook at Dane Campbell Drummer, or you can join the official Drum for the Song Facebook group. We had a pretty long conversation this time, so let's just get on with it, and I hope you enjoy.
Drum for the Song podcast.
Yeah, I'm here with Ash Sheehan now. How's it going, Ash?
How are you, mate? You all right?
Yeah, really good, man. Really good. I'm having a good day. What have you been up to?
Nothing really.
No, well, yeah, exactly.
Nothing in this current climate. Do you know what I mean?
You're sadly not playing drums, like the same as me.
Well, I had a bit of a session the other day. First session back, studio session, which was a bit weird because we were all self-isolated. Well, I say self-isolated, but partitioned in the studio.
Yeah.
And we all had to do the distancing thing, and do you know what I mean? It was a bit weird, but it kind of works in the studio because you've got, like, you know, your vocal booth, and you could put the drummer in the far end of the corner or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So it worked, but it was just a bit of a weird environment. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
Well,
but yeah,
that's cool that it's still possible.
Lockdown.
Yeah, that's still cool that it's possible for you to actually do. Yeah, but yeah. So, first of all, do you mind like explaining a little bit about your family history and how you got into music through that?
Yeah. Well, my family are Irish travellers, and they were Irish show people.
Amazing.
Came over from Ireland in a barrel top caravan, travelling with the circus, performing with the circus. We've got a history of fairground people in us as well.
Awesome.
Came over from Ireland in the wagon. My grandfather was a strong man. My mother was a trapeze artist. My grandmother was the beautiful like assistant lady. And they came over years ago in a barrel top caravan. Ended up settling down in England. And I was brought up in a house in Warsaw, England. And yeah, that's how I got a drum kit, you see. And I always wanted to play music from when I was a young age. I had a penny whistle given to me in the pram, and I was banging on biscuit tins and, you know, pots and pans from about 18 months old. My uncle got me a drum kit just to annoy my mother. Obviously, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the rest is history, to be honest with you. I've been a drummer ever since.
Ever since 18 months. I think that's probably going to be the youngest age any of the guys I speak to have started playing. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
No, that's
my first earliest memories of you know, that I can recall of playing music. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it's what I've wanted to do all my life, so it's what I've done. And
yeah, that's what you're doing. So that's great.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. So
yeah, well, you know,
obviously, apart from, like, you know, family and things that were around you, when you actually got into, I guess, drumming seriously, did you have any main influences or other drummers that influenced you?
Oh yeah. Well, my main influence, I love Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
For the obvious reasons, but for a multitude of reasons. He's got a bit of a travelling background as well. I don't know if you're aware. But,
I didn't know that.
But his family, not in the sense of gypsies and you know, Irish travellers, but his family were in vaudeville. So he was brought up in travelling shows. And when he was a very, very young kid, he was known as Traps the Drum Wonder. you know. And from like age about 3, he was performing on stage in his mum and dad's show. And then from there, obviously, he travelled all around the world, and he was. I mean, if people, you know, I'm sure people know the history of Buddy Rich, but from a very, very, very young age, he was like a child prodigy, you know. And I think with Buddy Rich, you know, it was just a natural, God-given thing. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't a thing. I don't think he really practiced that much. I don't even think he had a pair of drumsticks in the house. From I think I read Mel Torme's book on him, and it was just like. Buddy just had to you know, he could leave a drum kit for 12 months, sit down behind the kit, and he wouldn't make any difference. Do you know what I mean? It was just amazing. Like a God-given natural thing. And considering like his talent and what he could do, and the fact that he could do things that other drummers who practice for 12 hours a day could never ever achieve. Yeah. And the expression and the, you know, the communication he got in his sound as well, that natural just deliverance, you know, his character really come through. It was just such, for me, one of the most natural drummers you'll ever see in your life. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's nothing's like worked out in or pre-planned in a sense. A lot of the stuff which he was doing, which I'm sure you're aware of, like his left-hand technique was phenomenal. You know what I mean? His speed was unbelievable. But then, like the voicings that he played and the way he phrased things with the band, you know, between his kick drum and his snare drum, when the right hand's just fucking blazing. Do you know what I mean? It's unbelievable, really. But he could do that from like a very, very, very young age, you know. I mean, he couldn't read a note of music. So his ear and his you know, he's just the memory skill, unbelievable, man. Do you know what I mean? And and also on top of that, what a great character, you know. You know, he could really hold court as well, like, you know, with Sammy Davis Jr. and, you know, with all the talk shows. A real, again, vaudevillian, cabaret kind of entertainer, showman. Do you know what I mean? And not that I ever wanted to be like Buddy Rich, but I kind of related to Buddy Rich. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, totally. But on top of that, I mean, he's my favourite drummer. I've even got, I don't know if you can see, let's have a look. Can you see? On the back there. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah, BR, yeah, we can see it.
Well, that's his logo.
There you go. So it's inked on you then, yeah. Amazing.
I love Buddy Rich. Buddy Rich.
He's obviously a lot of people's favourite drummer, but it sounds like you have a bit more of a connection.
I do. I just felt like, you know, I mean, when I first heard Buddy play, you know, I was just like, what the fuck is that? Do you know what I mean? What the fuck is that? But obviously, I mean, from a young age, I mean, I suppose I really started to know what I was doing from around the age of 8 or 9. Do you know what I mean? When you kind of get your head on. I mean, I was playing drums from like 18 months, but you know what it's like. My uncle taught me a few rhythms, and I could bash around and make a bit of noise and play simple rhythms. But it wasn't until around the age of 8 or 9, I kind of started getting into like heavy metal music and rock, and do you know what I mean? And I grew my hair, had a leather jacket, and you know, kind of started getting a bit of my own identity with it. You know, when you're a kid, you get like that, right? You know,
well, of course, yeah. It's like most people's teenage years. You want to form your own kind of identity, and quite often it's around your musical tastes and influences. Isn't it? Yeah.
So I was really, you know, so I'd be listening from a young age, from 8 or 9. I mean, I was reared on Irish folk. You know, that was the music that was played in the household. Do you know what I mean? Dubliners, the Pogues, you know, Furies, you know, just real trad, you know, kind of Irish music. Yeah. And that was a real. Can you hear the dog? The dog's going crazy.
Yeah, don't worry, it's cool. It's all good.
Come here.
Yeah, bring him in. Bring him in. Hello.
Here he is. Say hello, Benji.
Hiya, Benji.
Say hello, mate. Right now.
Awesome.
Right now, shut up.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
So, Buddy Rich obviously is the main influence, but I was getting into like heavy metal and started listening to bands like Iron Maiden, Guns N' Roses, and all that kind of thing. Yeah. So the whole rock thing came from that. But then a little later on, I was getting to people like Dave Weckl, Vinnie Colaiuta, Steve Gadd, you know, Greg Bissonette, all these different kind of, you know, jazz fusiony players. And then from there, you know, Tony Williams and, you know, Billy Cobham. And all So all of your kind of traditional legends,
Yeah, they're
I
the
check
ones.
them out.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still to this day, you know, current play. I mean, there's so many players now that you see on the internet, and so many amazing players all over the world. You can't keep up with everybody.
No.
And to be honest with you, I don't really watch a lot of drummers nowadays because, how can I say, I observe, but I don't try to copy. Do you know what I mean?
You just do your own thing.
I do my own thing, and I like to have my own sound, my own identity.
Yeah.
Because you find that a lot of drummers do try and, you know, check out the latest players, try and get the licks down. Do you know what I mean? And then, no. You need identity, i.e., you know, again, Buddy Rich. If Buddy Rich played the drum kit, doesn't matter what drum kit it is, you know it's him.
Yeah.
You know, same with Vinnie Colaiuta, same with, you know, Weckl, same with Gadd. Do you know what I mean? All of those players, you listen, you can hear it's them.
Yeah.
You know? And but a lot of players, I'm not saying that a lot of players are just generic now, but, you know, that people kind of try and copy because you've got the internet and, you know.
Of course. I understand what you mean.
For me, it's about having your own sound, your own identity, you know?
Yeah, I guess that's something that you need time really to form as well. So, you know, if someone's only started learning, even if they learn really quickly, to kind of form your own identity and sound, you know, it will take time.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I tell you, one of my favourite drummers actually is Danny Goffey. You know Danny Goffey?
I don't.
Supergrass.
Oh, okay.
Supergrass?
I know. Yeah.
His style is quite erratic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe he speeds up, maybe he slows down. You know what I mean? And maybe he's a bit, you know. But I like him just from the fact that it's just like, you know, from like a normal person's point of view, when they look at the drummer and they just think crazy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I look at Danny Goffey, I kind of get it from like a non-drummer's point of view. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know, totally, yeah. That's great.
Because I can, rather than looking at his licks or what his technique's doing or what, I can just enjoy his just overall deliverance of a fucking...
Yeah, and the performance, and just...
There you go. So,
yeah.
Know, it depends on what you want from players, but, you know, I checked out every you know, musically, from a young age, I thought, well, I want to earn a living from playing music, so I've got to be well versed in every genre, every style.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I looked into it all, you know, and not being a jack of all trades, master of none. I studied, you know, I studied the Latin stuff and, you know, jazz and all the independent stuff, and you know, Gary Chester's New Breed book, Jim Chapin's book as well.
Oh, cool.
You know what I mean? Went through all the literature and studied it, and had teachers that walked me through it, and you know, so I did all of that technical side of learning. But then on the flip side, I do kind of like just fucking, do you know what I mean? A bit of anarchy as well. You know, it's you know, it's getting a balance, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
well, totally. I think if everything is too educational, it just zaps the fun out of everything.
I mean, there's a place in the world for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like to see drummers who are like athletes. Of course, I like to see drummers who can play fucking double bass drums at like, you know, 500 BPM. And black beats. That, you know, I love it, and I'm not slagging any of it off, because
no.
There's a place for all of it in the world, and different people will get different things from these different elements. You know, because some people can look at drumming as being like just a mad physical achievement, being able to play one rhythm with one hand, another rhythm with another hand, and playing at speed and control. But then you can also look at a player, again, without sounding cliched, like Ringo Starr, and see the whole thing, oh, Ringo was a shit drummer. But then other people are saying, no, he was so musical and this and that. It's that whole conversation, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It depends on what you want from the whole, you know. But I thought, well, from my point of view, I'd like to be able to give everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So be able to put the ego aside. If I walk into a studio or walk onto a job, I don't think, oh, I've got to show chops or I've got to show this or that. I've just got to do what's required. So, you know, being able to just lay the groove down and do the, you know, the basic form, that's one thing. But then being able to switch it on and have all the chops, you've got to have it in the bag as well. So, you know, I think for me personally, my style is to be every style.
Awesome. Yeah.
That's you know amazing. What I mean? And not be limited, and be able to be a musician rather than just being someone who bangs a drum. You know what I mean?
Well, you obviously you've hit the nail on the head there. like, I don't even know if you know the name of this podcast is Drum for the Song. So you've already described that, when you've got a job in the studio, you're,
Well, that's to be honest with you, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But you can still do all those.
Most of the gigs I get, a lot of producers want to know: can you play on a click? Can you play what we want? Yeah. Can you give me variation so I've got option? Yeah. Are you a nice guy? Are you punctual? Do you know what I mean? Can we get on with? It's those elements. It's not like, can he play fucking, an ostinato, in 5 on his feet, and then playing like, another ostinato. That doesn't come into it. No. But personally, it's great to be able to have that.
Of course,
so it's there. For whatever reason, whether you need to show off to other drummers, whether you need to just flash on a sound check, just to, whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever it is.
Well, yeah.
To be able to have all of it, that's the key.
Yeah, and like I completely wish I did have a lot more of it, and I'm sure a lot of.
You're doing all right, Dane, man. I seen you play.
I've seen you play.
You're doing all right, mate. You're doing fucking.
I don't. I haven't studied as much as you have. I did start young. I'm probably. I've dabbled in. I've tried to learn a bit of the Latin stuff, a bit of the jazz stuff. I did struggle.
But the thing is,
I don't.
You can learn it.
Yeah, I can still learn it. Yeah, I can still learn it now. Yeah.
You take the time.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I didn't really have a social life. My social life, I didn't have friends, or I didn't have. It sounds very lonely, but that's the way I wanted it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I was working. I was playing gigs properly, really, from around with orchestra, because I was playing trumpet from the age of 7. So I started playing that, and that got me into like the classical stuff and the big band stuff as well. Amazing. And I was playing with orchestras and big bands on horn from the age of like 7, 8. You know what I mean? From when I first started, you first get into like your wind band, and then you work up, and then you get to a local, the local orchestra or whatever, So I had a lot of good grounding working in that setup as well, and then working alongside drummers in like an orchestral setup or in a swing setup and a big band setup, and I could learn from the point of view of a melodic player rather than a percussive player. Do you know what I mean? Because I was playing horn.
Yeah.
But then when I took that element and played it in a rock band or whatever, do you know what I mean? I'd have a more of a greater understanding of what's going on. You don't just play a rhythm, or you don't just play for 4 bars. Yeah. You've got to play with the phrase. You've got to accentuate this. Because a lot of swing band drummers, if you see a lot of swing charts, they'll just have repeat signs, and then they'll have the phrasing over the top of what the horns are doing. So then the drummer is open-ended to phrase that voicing on the kit however he feels. It's not necessarily written down.
No,
it's just there's a rhythm. However you want to put it, if you want to put it on the rack, if you want to put it on the floor, if you want to put it on the couch, whatever you want to do, then you can do it. But you've got you take the phrase. Yeah. So from my my outlook on drumming as well wasn't just from like a 1 and 2 and 3. It was from like a sonic layering. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which came from working with all different setups, orchestras, jazz groups, big bands, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even like little duos and stuff like that, playing percussion with like guitar players and stuff like that,
Yeah, of course. Well,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, but that's obviously been super helpful, especially starting so young. And just building, like most, I'd like to think I haven't done as much as you, but I'd like to think I've done my fair share of different kind of ensembles and over the years with different instruments. But so I like to think I can kind of play when I need to, not play when I don't need to. Listen to the other instruments, because I play a few other instruments as well. I'm not just focusing on drumming. I'm listening to everything what's going on. So,
well, first and foremost, I mean, I've always looked at myself as a drummer.
Yeah,
because that's what I do. I'm a drummer. That's what I love. It's how I feel. I can really express myself. I can really put my voice out there. Do you know what I mean? How I feel most comfortable in every area. You know what I mean? Even though I do play other instruments, just the same as yourself. Playing other instruments I think drummers find it easy to pick up a bass because of the rhythmical thing, and all you got to do is put your fingers in the right place at the right time. Again, another rhythmical thing. Do you know what I mean? Not disrespecting the bass, but I'm saying if you have rhythm, then you can apply it to other instruments, like a piano. You could take a paradiddle, stick it on a piano, and it's interesting in a simple chord shape. You know what I mean? So the rhythm can shape the melody, or do you know what I mean, or the colour and the texture of the chord. You can take a simple chord, but with a rhythm, it can make it extremely. It organises the sound, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So from a drummer's drummer's point of view, it's easier to pick up other instruments. But if you do pick up another instrument and play it from that point of view, then you look at the drum kit from another angle as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than sitting behind, you can see it from a bass player's point of view. You can see where you should be leaving gaps. You shouldn't be overcrowding his fills, or you shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? And then then the musicianship element comes. That's not being a drummer. That's being a musician.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Do you know what I mean? You know, a drummer, for me, a drummer is being able to have all the physical capabilities and the mental capacity to then execute the musical creative idea in the best possible format, you know, in the best possible way. And for me, as I said, I'm a drummer. That's what I've done from a young age. It's my love. It's my passion. It's what I am, you know.
Yeah.
But by working in so many different environments, and basically, I mean, I was having lessons off a guy called Steve Palmer, who's Carl Palmer's brother from Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
Yeah, amazing.
And I went to college for a brief period. I dropped out of college. That's another story. But I was at the college, and Steve was teaching drums at the college, and I used to have a lesson with him each week. And he said to me, and I already had this sentiment anyway. He was like, if there's any gig that comes in, just fucking do it. Just do it. Doesn't matter what it is. Just do it. And the thing is, I've been on that kind of, you know, that mindset anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I joined a rock band when I was about 11, 12.
Nice.
Yeah, and all these guys were about 15, 16. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they let me join the band because I was good and blah, blah, blah. So the one time I was playing in the rock band on like a Monday night rehearsal. Tuesday night I'd be playing with the local wind band, playing like, you know, fucking Star Wars theme tune and all that. And, you know what I mean? Wednesday night I'd be playing with the local jazz big band as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thursday night, I don't know, I'd be doing something else. But then Friday and Saturday, do you know what I mean? You'd be out gigging. You'd be like with a cover band, I don't know, doing the fucking social clubs down in Wales, you know what I mean? Just,
nice.
You know, getting in the back of the van and just going and working like 60s covers and, you know, the Shadows and, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it still goes on, yeah.
Well, that's it. And it was just like every back to the point I was saying, I didn't really have a social life with friends.
Right.
My social life was out in rehearsals and with, you know, other musicians and older people as well. So from a young age, I just kind of soaked it all up and was just in this environment and surrounded by older musicians who were great. In my, you know, at that time I was like, these guys are fucking amazing. Do you know what I mean? And looking up to everybody and just trying to learn as much as I can. And it paid off really because, you know, by the time I was 14, 15, I was pro. My first pro gig was with Edwin Starr. It was on trumpet.
Wow.
You know, but then Bid Beresford, who's a great drummer actually. Biddy, he's an amazing drummer. He used to play for Left Field, and he does like some electronic thing now as well, which he's doing. Unbelievable, and a great producer as well. Great producer. And Biddy, the drummer, was trying to get me into drum tech at the time. Like, you know, I was like, I'm only 14, but I'm looking to, you know, so he gave me a load of information. He said, listen, when you're old enough, you know, you can come in, blah, blah, blah. And I learned a lot of Biddy as well. You know, he's another great player. But that was my first pro gig, being launched into that kind of, you know what I mean, that kind of environment. We played like National Indoor Arena in Birmingham, and we were doing like, you know, some big shows and stuff, you know. And at that time, I was at school, and, you know, I did the gig on the Saturday, I remember, at the NIA, and went back to school on the Monday, and they were like, what did you do on the weekend? I said, I played in front of like 10,000 people. And they were like, so already I couldn't really connect with the kids in the class.
Yeah,
do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I get it. Yeah.
Well, it was not even like jealousy. It was just like they couldn't comprehend.
Like, yeah, they probably couldn't.
Yeah,
understand.
Well, you've been on. They were just like, no, you that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You haven't done that. Do you know what I mean? But because I'd been gigging and playing and working with different people from a very young age, you get into different circles. And then that's how my professional career started to kick off. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah, word of mouth as well. And
yeah,
imagine playing in front of all those different people and with all those different people over the years. If something came up, obviously you're one of the guys they're going to call. And
that's
what it's all about.
I still see some of the people. I still see some of the people from now, from when I was that age, still working now, and still occasionally do gigs with them.
Oh, cool.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And still phenomenal players, and still killing it and still doing it. And again, real out of all the musicians that I played with, the select few which are still in the game. Do you know what I mean? They're just like they're because it's a passion for them. It's a lot. It's not just something that they do. It's they get up in the morning. And that's what it is. Which hence with all like this lockdown shit, it's like it's hard, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because what the government have, and don't understand is that a lot of pro musicians, it's not just their job. It's deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than that, and it's who you are, and if you've dedicated your life to something as well. Do you know what I mean? And well, you know exactly what I'm saying. Then you know what I'm saying.
This is why partly why I've decided to do this because I'm normally really busy during the summer, and obviously that's I'm sure you are as well. I just thought this was an idea I had, and I always thought, I don't, I just thought of the time it was going to take to start, and I haven't got time, and then I just thought I'm going to do it. Let's do it.
You're getting a positive from a negative, because at the end of the day, if where one door is shut without our control, you've opened up another. Do you know what I mean? You get a little bit of an insight into different people, different players. And because a lot of the time, what I find as well, what makes a player isn't their physical capability; it's what's inside them.
Totally,
it's their character.
Yeah,
it's who they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the great players, you can see their character come through on the kit. They don't just look like everybody else. They don't just sound like everybody else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for me, as a musician, I think it's all about having your own identity and your own voice. But as a session musician, it's being able to speak in any voice, if you know what I mean.
Well, for you to be capable of literally saying yes to anything, you just need to know. I can play that. That's cool. So like, I've obviously seen you play with Glenn Hughes, which we'll talk about in a minute. And that was one of the shows when you were playing all the Deep Purple stuff. And that was like, you blew me away, to be honest. But so that's right. And so did you have to learn a lot of that stuff, or did it? How did the job? How did it come about?
I'll tell you the story, right? I'll tell you the story. I won't bore you, but I'll tell you the story. Right?
No, it won't. It won't be boring.
So I got a band, 3-piece band with two brothers, Jimmy and Nick, called the Dead Sea Skulls, right? Yeah. And it's like a punky kind of like. Do you know what I mean?
I listened this week actually, and I was really impressed. I thought, it was like you said, punky, loads of cool like rhythmic.
But there's melody in there. There's
really commercial sounding. I thought it was
a bit of groove in there, a little bit of it's a little bit. It's kind of like punky, but makes you want to kind of get up, have a good time, have a dance.
I really enjoyed it, man. It was. I listened. It's three albums I found on Spotify, but I don't know if you find them all.
I mean, it's very DIY. It's very kind of. We recorded the first record in Nico's and Jimmy's mum and dad's kitchen.
Amazing.
You know what I mean? We recorded literally in the kitchen, set the drums up. They've got quite a big kitchen area, so we just recorded all the parts in the house. And then we sent the stems off to a pal of ours called Nick Malin. He was playing bass in the Choir Boys at the time.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
So he just mixed it all and did put all the glitz and the glamour on it. But it's a very DIY. It's like we don't rehearse. We write the songs. We know the songs. We don't rehearse. We don't even fucking sound check after the song. We just turn up, smash the place to fucking bits. You know what I mean? It's always a bit of a riot, and it's very much a no fucks given kind of attitude.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Kind of turn up, get it done. Not flippantly, but it's just like it's an instant like we don't give a fuck. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like we turn up, we're going to smash the place to bits. Everyone's going to have a good time. There's no kind of like, oh, should we do this? Oh, should we do that? And there's no really thought in it. It's more do than think.
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
And that's the way that we've always been. And it's always worked. Do you know what I mean? And Jimmy and Nico, we're tight. I mean, they're actual brothers, but you know, they're the closest thing I got to brothers. You know what I mean? So we're tight. But anyways, cut a long story short, we were supporting Glenn because Jimmy, who's the bass player in our band, was working with Glenn, helping him out with a few things on the road, etc. Blah blah blah. Because he's known Glenn for years. Right. So Glenn said to Jimmy, "Listen, we're playing 2 shows in Ireland. We got one in Belfast. We got one in Dublin. Do you want to bring the 2 lads, me and his brother, and open up the show?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "No problem. I'll fucking smash the show to bits. No problem."
Yeah.
So he said, "Okay, we'll do it." So we went over. We played the show. First night, we got a standing ovation. Goes on his truth. I think it's on YouTube as well. You know what I mean? So people are like, "Who the fuck are these fellas?"
So you were the opening act?
We're the opening act, and we were the warm-up act, and we're probably the best warm-up act he could have got. You know what I mean? We got them all. We broke the ice in a sit-down theatre. Do you know what I mean? The idea was to get them up and fucking to rock and roll show. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Never mind your formalities. Let's have it. You know, that's the idea. So that was my mindset. When I went on stage, you know, I'm not trying to upstage anybody. I'm just here to fucking do my thing and let's have it. Do you know what I mean? That's that was the idea. So we did it the first night, smashed it, no problem. Second night, same thing. Got up, smashed it, fantastic. Because with the Dead Sea Skulls, I stand up and play, and I sing as well.
You're lead vocalist, yeah.
And I front the show. I front the show. So I'm standing at the front. Standing up with the kit, and I'm, doing my thing and putting the show on and blah, 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 and X, Y, Z. Anyways, the second night, Glenn came to the side of the stage and he watched us. And he was watching the show and he was getting into it, and, which is a rare thing because Glenn just does his thing, man. He's backstage and you know what Glenn's like, he's...
I didn't get to meet him at that show, but I was about to say, I listened to a podcast with him. I don't know if do you know Matt Stocks? He's from Birmingham. Do you know him?
I'm not sure.
He used to be a Kerrang radio guy, but anyway, he's got a podcast, and he interviewed Glenn, and I didn't realize how into the kind of Buddhism spiritual thing he was. And it's mad. It's mad.
He's honest to God, Glenn. I'm not just going to say it because I've worked with him and because I'm very fond of Glenn, and I'm not saying it to be, oh yeah, we're close. No, listen, I ain't like that. I ain't that kind of fucking geezer. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I'm very fond of him. We got on very, very well. Me and Glenn did, and I think what it is. I think it was like kind of that Birmingham connection. Do you know what I mean? Because the 2 lads who are in the band. I mean, even Nico, who plays guitar in the band, he's been out on tour with us. Do you know what I mean? Just helping out, doing a bit of teching and stuff. And do you know what I mean? And just sorting things out and helping around. Because nice. Jimmy, our bass player, who was just helping Glenn, is Glenn's manager.
Right. Okay.
So he's looking after Glenn now. So he's taking care of Glenn's business, right? Yes. But Jimmy had been kind of talking to Glenn about me, saying, "Oh, the guy in my band, blah blah blah, is a gypsy and he's traveling." And Glenn was a bit fascinated with the whole kind of background and the lifestyle. So that he was saying to Jimmy, "Oh, I'd like to meet the gypsy. You'd like to meet the gypsy, right?" So then we ended up getting the support. He was like, "Bring the band." No, actually, I'll tell a lie. Oh. I got invited to meet Glenn at the Black Country Communion gig when they played in Wolverhampton.
Oh wow!
He said, "Bring Ash along. I'd like to meet him."
Nice.
Right?
So this was before you supported him or after?
This is about 3 months before we supported. Right. Supported him. I just turned up. I went with Nico and we turned up. We had a nice night. We met Glenn. How you doing? Blah blah blah. I've heard a lot about you, except and how you do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So went up and did that. Me and Glenn got on pretty well. We had a good half an hour's chat or so. How you doing? Just hung out. And then I didn't think anything else of it. I thought, yeah, Glenn Hughes, nice fella. Do you know what I mean? Blah blah blah. And then we got the call for the gig, and then we flew to Ireland, did the gig. Cut a long story short, Glenn watched the set. We were flying back the next day, and we were all flying back together. So I spoke to Glenn in the airport, sitting down, and he said to me, he said, look, he said, I'm not too happy with the drummer I've got at the moment. Cut a long story short, you know what I mean?
Won't ask me.
Yeah. He said, could you learn the set by Friday? He said, I've seen you play. He said, great, energy, blah, blah, blah. He said, could you learn the set by Friday? I said, if you're paying, this is the exact words I said. I said, if you're paying, I'm playing. And
that's what you said.
Right? Yeah. I said, I'll smash your fucking set to bits. And it's exactly what I said. I will smash your set to bits. And you know what? He went, go on then. Fair play. He was like, go on then.
That's amazing.
And as if to say, who's this cocky fucker? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not cocky. I was 110% confident that I could. Now, I knew Smoke on the Water, and I think I knew the riff to Burn.
Right, yeah.
I hadn't really listened to a lot of Deep Purple. It wasn't my era, and it, you know what I mean?
Of course.
I'll be honest with you. And there's so many different lineup changes. I knew like Ian Gillian and all that type. And I was like, I didn't know who was who in Deep Purple. You know, I knew Richie Blackmore because everyone knows a Richie Blackmore, but I didn't really know much. I'll be honest with you, right?
Fair enough.
So he was like, Sam, you'll have an email in the morning with the tunes and the set. Do what you got to do. I said, all right, and send. So he sent me the email, and there were like 8 songs or 9 songs on the list. And it's supposed to be a 2-hour fucking show. Yeah. I thought, hang on a minute, there must be a few tunes missing here. So I went onto YouTube and watched that California Jam, and and then you've got tracks like You Feel No One, which is like half an hour's fucking tune, 40 minutes with all the solos included and all the segues and all the. I thought, oh right, yeah. So it's only like 8 or 9 tunes, but they're quite long. So what I did, I think it was the Wednesday afternoon. I sat down, I scored it, just wrote lead sheets and just got the structure down and just made little notes and wrote out little phrases of what need to be, got. I had a gig on the Wednesday evening, I remember, in London. So I drove to London and I listened to the tracks on the way to London, drove back on the same night, and then listened to the tracks again. I had to get together with Glenn and Soren, his guitar player, on the Thursday afternoon. I had the call. They said, "Listen, we'll hire out a studio. We'll just see how you're doing, right? No problem." I said, "All right, okay." Now Jimmy had said to Glenn, "Listen, Ash won't fuck about. Ash is going to come in. He's going to nail the gig." And I'm sure they were just like, because they hadn't spoke to the other drummer. I'm sure they were edging the bets,
right. Yeah, I was going to say it's risky.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking, right?
Yeah,
they're edging the bets. Let's see how the big man fella. See how, you know what I mean? See if he can pull it off. So Glenn came down to the studio, and the idea was that I was just going to play through the riffs with the guitar player, Soren. So we went in. How you doing? How you doing? Sat down. I played. I don't know. What was it? The funky track. It'll come to me in a minute.
Is it the one with the bass line, like?
That's the one. Yeah.
I what's it called?
I should know it.
Yeah, I'm awful with song titles, man. I'm really bad.
So it'll come back in a minute. So I played that, and he's gone. Fucking hell. Then we started playing another tune, and he got in. So Glenn wasn't even going to play. Right, he was just going to sit in the corner and just observe. And he straps a bass on, and he says to Jim, "Set me a mic up." So we end up jamming for about an hour and a half, booking an extra hour in the room, and he was like, "If you play like that on the gig, we didn't do the whole set, but we just did sections and just little bits. So if you play like that on Friday, then you've got the gig." So I said, "No problem." So I think the first gig was in Cardiff.
Oh wow! I missed it. Where was I?
Yeah,
that's down the road from me.
The first one was in Cardiff, I think it was. Yeah. So I turned up to the sound check. Nailed the sound check. Turned up, first tune, Stormbringer, all the way through set. Didn't drop a note. Nailed the gig. And at the end of it, he was like, he said, Glenn Hughes, he was like, "Fuck me, you're unbelievable." And I was like, "I'll have that all day long, mate. Thank you very much." I said, "I'll see you tomorrow."
That's amazing, man. Just completely
and
smashed
that was
it.
So I had a couple. But the thing is, I knew I'd be able to do it. and I had all the confidence, and not arrogance, but confidence, because I knew I had the skills to be able to take in the information and then process it out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, at the end of the day, it's only rock and roll, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You know,
I know. You can.
know,
There's room. Yeah, there's room to improvise here and there, and
and with the Ian Pace thing as well. Ian Pace was very influenced by Buddy Rich.
Yeah,
Do
you
you know
can
what I mean?
tell.
And that big band style as well. So Glenn I think he liked my style of playing because he said to me, it's like it's like a jazz style, but with a fucking hard rock kind of element thrown in as well. But that was my approach when I played it. You know, because I didn't want to just. I mean, and Glenn didn't just want a carbon copy. This is the thing. Glenn was like, I want you to kind of express yourself as well, and you know, be in the vein of Ian Pace, but you know, bring an element of yourself, because the show is Glenn Hughes performs classic Deep Purple. That's the show. It's not like it's not a cover band.
Yeah,
it's not a
tribute band. You know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're on Glenn's timeline. We're with a with the legend. You know what I mean? So over the course of time, as the weeks went on, the set just got tight, as it does, as you know it does. It just got tighter and tighter, and those little elements and those little pushes and those little things, and a lot of improvisational things that Glenn and I were doing. We were just clicking and just gelling and he said to me, I love the way that you listen to me. Do you know what I mean? And because I was like, I'm riding on him all the time, you know, I'm working, and his bass playing is fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah. He's
unbelievable, like what he can, and then his vocal. I mean, everyone knows him as the voice of rock, but he's the way it's just mad. He's a phenomenal bass player. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? As well as being a phenomenal singer, you know. But to cut a long story short, the guy's a legend. I got a lot of love for him, and I don't say that about everybody, but I have. I'm very, 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 very fond of Glenn. We clicked on a level, and and you know, I'm very honoured, proud and privileged, really. But to be honest with you, I can only thanks to my mate Jimmy. He got me the gig, really. You know, I've got the skills to back it up, but at the end of the day, if it wasn't for me pal saying, you want to get Ash, you want to get him, Ash is the man for the gig. Ash is the man for the gig, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I probably wouldn't have even been looked at or entertained. So thank you very much, Jimmy. Thank you very much, Glenn. Do you know what I mean? Cheers.
Yeah,
credit where credit is due, isn't it?
Yeah. And I guess that just comes all down to the networking side of the industry and getting somewhere else in the industry is who you know, who you've played for. It's not what you know,
it's who you know.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I believe it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's not who you know, it's who knows you.
Yeah, that's more like it, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's who knows you, because you can know all these people. I know people, but they wouldn't do fuck all for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's the people who know you who think, he's the guy. Do you know what I mean? So, and if you've got people who are like that, then you're very, very lucky, because in this game, there are elements of luck as well. But there's some amazing players that don't get opportunity and don't get chance. And it is a fucking crying shame.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, that's the way it is. If you get a bit of luck, you get a bit of luck. If you don't, at least you're still doing what you want to do. And even if you can just earn a living, playing music, a couple of gigs a week, if that's what you want to get out of it, and you're happy, and do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then fair play to you. But in my respect, I've got to say thank you to the people who've always sorted me out and put me onto gigs and put faith in me, because I've never let them down. Do you know what I mean? And always give 150%, 200%. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To make sure that you fucking nail it and that you come out smelling the roses. You know what I mean? Shining. You know, that's always been my outlook on things. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think you seem to pull that off.
Well, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I can't wait. Well, I can't wait to watch you again at some point. You know, it was amazing. Now
I can't wait to fucking play again.
I know. I literally at the start of the lockdown, we with the Bastard Sons, we recorded a new album, so that was cool. But that was months ago now. That was like March or something like that. So, and I literally haven't sat near a kit.
It's weird, isn't it? I mean, don't get me. I've sat behind the kit. I have sat behind the kit.
That's cool.
But I mean, nowadays, I mean, how can you say? It's I'm sitting behind the kit, and I love to do it, but then in a way, there's a feeling in me. I'm like, oh, fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? You know, I wish I had some people to see this.
Yeah. Right, you're gonna.
Or that I could put.
record yourself and that. Yeah.
Playing for yourself is fun for a period of time, but you want to get it out to other people as well. I think we feed off other people's reaction, don't we? You know.
Yeah.
It's like a drug, and if you don't get it, you fucking crave it.
I know. Yeah, totally. Like the actual buzz you get from the audience and stuff, and if you get that
that's what pulls the tricks out the bag. That's what makes you do things where you sometimes you can be like, we've been there tired, sweating, fucking lights are just burning your face off, but there's a crowd in front of you, and what you're able to do and push your body and your mind capacity to under those extreme conditions, really. You're fucking totally. You're like running a marathon for an hour and a half set or 2 hours or whatever the fuck it is under baking lights. Yeah. So, and you've got to keep constant concentration and know where you are, physical demand. Do you know what I mean? And perform and make it look interesting, entertaining and effortless. It's not an easy task, is it?
No. No, at all.
But to people like you, me, and thousands of other drummers around the world, it comes natural, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And it's like a fucking. I mean, I know Glenn's into his Buddhism and he meditates and all that. I've never really meditated, but what I've found, and this is what I've thought in my mind, that when you're in that zone, when you're on stage and you're in that fucking.
It's a zone. You're not.
Yeah, you're like it's here, isn't it? And you're in it. You're outside of it, but you're in it, and it's like. That there is the closest form to being at peace and that sheer focus is just like that's like meditation for me. Like performance, it's a mad fucking headspace performance, as you know yourself.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I do miss it at the moment, and I do crave it back. But hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll all come back and we'll be fucking sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
That's the idea.
You were meant to be playing some of those outdoor drive-in shows, weren't you, this summer? With unfortunately, they've all been cancelled. Like literally,
all been pulled. Yeah.
Do you have
been cancelled? All been pulled.
Do you? I don't suppose you have any kind of information as to the reasons why, or is it they saying the safety thing? Are they?
I think it's a government thing, or whether I don't know. But it shows everything's back on within 48 hours. Sorry, don't put it on Facebook. Don't put it on social media. We have, you can't make the announcement, but we're going to make the announcement tonight. Blah blah blah. And I was like, fucking. But listen, I'm not the only person it's happened to. There's been,
of course. Yeah.
I mean, it's Live Nation, the booking agent. It's all of their shows gone.
All gone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean. It's what it is.
I know a few people who I know they said they bought tickets to some of them. So yeah, obviously the musicians and everyone, not just musicians, all the crew and the staging, there's a lot of people involved.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
Domino effect. Not just the musicians, you've got the people backstage, all the techs, all the engineers, all the road crew, all the fucking people who, the hire companies and. The staff who work in the venues, the security, it's a knock-on effect. The people who bring, the truck drivers who bring all the fucking rig in it. I mean, it's many different elements,
Totally, yeah.
It's got to come back to because listen, people need. Imagine this now. No entertainment. I mean, you can play music, but to go and see a live show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't get that feeling anywhere else. You can't do it.
No, that atmosphere, that entertainment, that pure escapism for people, and that involvement of it, everybody. Like when you go to a gig and you're surrounded by, it's 500 people, 50,000 people. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You're all there with like-minded people, enjoying the atmosphere, and I don't know if you. I don't know. I don't want to sound like a hippie, but vibrations and all this kind of thing. Everyone's buzzing on the same fucking wavelength. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. You live off the energy of the people around you and stuff.
Not just going to disappear. It ain't going to go away. So, we might be on pause at the moment, but when it comes back and the touring comes back and all the shows come back, I believe it'll come back. And not being wishful thinking, but it will come back with a vengeance because people will be hungry for it. You know what I mean?
Oh, totally. People are going to be.
So it might be a good. It might be a good thing. It might rejuvenate like Extra Life and people who probably didn't even think or would even consider going to a live gig would go, you know what I mean? I need to value this and respect it and treasure it and cherish it for what it is, because it's a very, very, very special thing. Do you know what I mean? Being able to get people all together, a lot of people all together in one place, listening to, I mean, music in itself, you know, it's a magical fucking mad thing. You know what I mean? It's unexplainable, really. You know, with the effects it has on humans. You know, it's mood altering, and you know, it's But it just needs to fucking come back at the end of the day. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line.
Well, obviously, you know, we just it's a waiting game and see what happens, and everyone just wants it to come back as soon as possible. But
in the meantime, we can just do this podcast.
Exactly. Listen to the podcast constantly, and other people's podcasts. So rewind a little bit then. So you were gigging with the Twang, Glenn Hughes, and Dead Sea Skulls. How did you manage your calendar? Or did you ever have to, if you had a gig booked with one band and then Glenn offered you a big festival, how did you deal with that situation?
Oh, it's happened. Yeah. It's happened. Yeah.
It's hard, isn't it?
I had a tour with Glenn, and there was a few shows. There were a few shows which I couldn't do. So the Twang brought in another guy just to fill in, just to step in. Nice guy. Did a good job. I think from a band called the Electric Soft Parade. I think Electric Soft Parade.
Okay, I know the name, but I don't know much
about it. Nice guy, came in, did a good job. It was a bit awkward because, you know, I'm in both bands, but to be honest with you, I had to. It was easier the way I looked at it. It was easy because the Twang is my chair. You know, I've been in the band now for. I'm not the original drummer in the Twang because he got replaced by me. But I've been in the band for about 8 years now as a permanent member, you know, in the lineup. Yeah. Not just a second guy.
You're not a second guy. Yeah.
No. So it was hard because that was like my band, you know. But then I'm working with a fucking rock and roll hall legend, you know, world famous fucking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you know, it's a problem, but it's a good problem, if you know what I mean. It's a nice problem to have.
Yes.
You know, awkward, but it's nice because career-wise, you can sit back and go, "Well, fuck me, look what I've got to deal with." You know what I mean? So, what I did is, I said to the lads, "Look, you know, to play your music's going to be a bit easier, and it's going to be, how can I say?" It's just going to be easier to replace someone on that gig than it is on Glenn's gig. Do you know what I mean? In a short space of time, and plus Glenn had got used to me playing with him, and it was personal. There's personal elements as well. But sometimes these things happen.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not the only player who's had that happen. I'm sure, like people like you know, like your Vinnie Colaiutas and all that, who are like fucking session heads, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? You know, all right, he might have had a gig with Sting, and then he's got to go off with fucking Jeff Beck.
Yeah.
How do you work? I mean, don't get me wrong.
How does it work? That's why I'm interested, because it's happened to me on a smaller scale, you know. And
I mean, it happened.
Yeah.
But you know, tough decision, and sometimes, hopefully, you can work things out, and you can work out for the best. But you know, in a way, I said to the lads in the Twang, I said, look, you know, it's a privilege and an honour to be playing with Glenn Hughes as well. And it's not like, you know, I'm going to be able to play with Glenn Hughes, you know, forever, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because Glenn might just say, you know, well, like he's done with the Dead Daisies. You know, he's like, I'm doing this now, and then I'll come back and I'll do this when I'm ready. Do you know what I mean? So Glenn does his own thing. Yeah. You know, but I said to him, well, I need to do this because, you know, with Glenn, I'm touring the world.
You're right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we're going everywhere. Canada, America, you know.
That's amazing.
Fucking, you know, Russia, fucking, where else did we go? Istanbul, Turkey, you know what I mean? Just mad fucking places where the gigs are just unbelievable, you know, and big shows. I mean, we did Grass Pop in Belgium. I don't know how many was in that field, but it looked about fucking 100,000 people, man. It was fucking nuts. And then I was playing the gig, and there's is it Ian Scott or Scott Ian? I always get it.
Scotty Anthrax, is it?
That's it.
Scotty
He was
Ian
at the
from
side.
Anthrax. Yeah.
He was at the side. He was at the side of the stage filming the fucking gig.
Wow.
So I'm playing away, and I'm like, that's your man from Anthrax.
I bet he loved
another
it.
band. Remember them Testament?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
All of them were on the side of the stage. They were all watching the gig, and I'm like, because when I was a kid, when I was getting into like hard rock and heavy metal, do you know what I mean? I knew Anthrax, you know, and Testament and all this, and you know,
yeah, it's the
and I'm looking there, and I'm like, you know, I'm growing up, and I'm like, these fellas are standing inside the stage. Well, you know what I mean? Well, at one time, I'd be watching them on a fucking VHS video.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Going like, I want to be like these people. do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
So for me, as well as being in the Twang, playing with Glenn, I mean, like, you know, the singer from Anthrax, I mean, I can't remember his name. Ian Bennett, is he?
They've had a few. They're back to the original one now.
That's him, yeah, him with the hair.
Yeah, long hair, long curly hair.
That's the one. Well, I was chatting with him backstage, and like, you know, when I was a kid, all of those, you know, if you're into rock, you're into all of the bands. You know what I mean? Every one of course. Sepultura, everything from Poison. I was into like Poison, fucking, you know, Aerosmith to Sepultura to fucking Cathedral to all these. Do you know what I mean? You know, but to be hanging backstage with them and being like, it was fucking nuts. You know what I mean? Living Colour as well were playing before us.
Wow, yeah.
You know what I mean? So Will Calhoun. I sat backstage and I'm on the fucking same table having dinner with Will Calhoun.
It's crazy.
And I'm like, yeah. From a kid who got into music, do you know what I mean? Got into rock, grew his hair, got the leather jacket, and was turned up to fucking jazz band practice on the Tuesday night with the trumpet. Worked that one out, a little rock with the trumpet. Fucking, do you know what I mean? Always a contradiction, like, you know. But to be sitting there, in Belgium with all these fellas, and you're playing the same bill, and they're all watching you on the gig.
They're watching you because you play for the legend.
That's what I'm saying. And obviously they're not watching me. They're watching Glenn.
They probably are watching.
I made sure they were fucking having a look at what I got. You know?
Yeah, of course.
Like, as you do, as every musician. And if you say you don't do that, you're a fucking liar. Because every musician does it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Everyone wants to impress, and everybody wants to. You know what I mean? But it was hard. But I'm going to say that I'm glad it's worked out the way it's worked out. Because I'm still in the Twang, I'm still touring with them, still writing with them. Do you know what I mean? I'm still a fully fledged member. It was nice for the other guy to fill in, and he did a great job, and he added a little bit of association with him and what he's doing as well.
Yeah.
So it's nice, and it gave me a chance to play with Glenn. But here's the other thing as well. I first met Glenn when I was 14.
What?
When I was in a recording studio in Warsaw. Right. Because he came down to the studio because they'd reformed Trapeze, which was his original band.
Yeah.
So I ended up first meeting Glenn, and believe it or not, Glenn said to me, I don't know if he was bullshitting me. I don't know if you were bullshitting me, Glenn, but he said to me, I remember meeting you. Because he said, I remember you look like a little girl. I was like, yeah. He said, I had long hair. I thought, oh, is this little girl in the room playing the drums is really, really good. Because I think he walked into the wrong room because they were rehearsing in the far end, room 5, I remember. I was in room 3.
Right.
And I think Glenn just walked into the wrong room, and I was just fucking banging around playing a bit of a warm-up solo. And he stood there for a minute or two, and he watched, and he was like, you're great, you are really, really good. Do you know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. He's a great drummer, X, Y, Z. And then years later, I told him about the story. He said, well, listen, he said, it was meant to be, wasn't it? You were supposed to be in my band, weren't you? And he's got all that spiritual vibe. And he's like, you were meant to be.
Yeah, it was meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So it's funny how it's really funny how things do work out. Do you know what I mean? It's funny how things work out. But I'm glad that it's worked out the way it's worked out, because not only, how can you say, not only was it like a professional thing, there's many personal elements going into it as well.
Yeah.
So I'm happy how it's worked, because, it's the CV's looking too bad. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's very impressive.
It's looking all right, man. It's looking all right.
So, obviously, you said you're pretty much pro since you were a teenager.
Yeah.
So you made a living from it. So was that Grass Pop show like the first time you were really like surrounded by like other music, like music royalty. I think it's a silly term, but you know, is that the first time you really felt like, oh my god, you know? And all these
There's been a few times. There's been a
Yeah.
few times that I've been around. I've been really lucky to be. I mean, I mean, even in different genres and stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, I remember I got into a cruise. I was doing a cruise on the QE2,
Right.
playing with an ABBA tribute band,
Cool.
and we were on this cruise for like 2 weeks, and we were like a guest show on the cruise, but part of the cruise as well was like a blues cruise as well. So they had these like famous fucking blues legends playing on the cruise as well as having this ABBA show in the theatre that have like another.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So after all the shows had finished, all the musicians on the ship would go up to the Cuckoo's Nest, which is the top bar. So I've ended up like playing with this guy called Clarence Gatemouth Brown, who was like a fucking blues legend. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
In a pissed up jam session in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean on the QE2. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I remember thinking, there was not being like starstruck with the guy, but thinking, I'm in the middle of the fucking ocean, sitting on the drum stool. Do you know what I mean? Playing with like this guy, this black guy with like from deep south. You know what I mean? Like with the fucking rattlesnake fucking cowboy boots and a matching guitar case to go for it. The man's styled out of his fucking mind.
Class.
Do you know what I mean? Cool as fuck. You know, just like a real enigma of a character. You know what I mean? The presence and the aura that was coming off him and he was just like being around these kind of people. It rubs off on you. You know what I mean? It's like I met Roy Wood when I was like 15, and he was like that. He was like, just keep going. Do as much as you can in the game, and just being around these kind of people. I don't know if or being in their presence. I don't know if it, vibrations again. But
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like ripples, like you drop the stone in the pond and it ripples. You know?
Yeah. It's got to encourage you as well, and I've been in.
I remember being on a tour bus going through Canada. We used to play with another band called Broadcast, who were like underground kind of, the real like alternative kind of. They were on Warp Records, one of John Peel's favourite bands, Broadcast, from Birmingham, and it was very kind of music sound kind of, like Velvet Underground kind of stuff, and And I remember going through Canada and just being on this tour bus and thinking, I'm playing this fucking mad surreal music in front of big crowds. Do you know what I mean? Like real arty kind of like, with projections and, and I'm driving through the middle of Canada and I just had like moments of being like, this is fucking nuts. I've had quite a lot of moments like that. Do you know what I mean? And I think just being able to sit there and just, if you can sit and appreciate and just, and get self-satisfaction and buzz off it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, I don't drink anymore. I stopped drinking, right? Just not because I had a problem with drinking or fuck all like that. It's just I stopped drinking because I was fed up of having hangovers and having to travel.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I was just like, fuck it, I can't be asked. Do you know what I mean? To get it. I'm a bit of a nutter anyway. Do you know what I mean? And full of fucking beans
lots
and all
of energy,
that.
yeah.
Exactly. So I don't need, you know what I mean? So the idea, is now I get such a fucking buzz from experience that I don't really need it like alcohol or anything, because I can, when you're on a gig and you're in front of like 10,000 people, you're like, fuck, this is like surreal. It's nuts. It's but appreciation for me is like, it's a big thing. Do you know what I mean? Being able to kind of like feel that reward and to, when you get in the stomach, you get excitement in your stomach and you feel it's a big thing and I've had that fortunately a lot, and it's awesome. all through playing music and being around, the people that I've met, like your dad, like your fucking dad, like what a character your father is.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying it. Lovely gentleman, lovely man. When you brought me backstage and sat me down, do you know what I mean? Like, what a down to earth, lovely, and I'm not just saying it, lovely fucking man.
Yeah, he's cool. He's chilled.
And look at what your dad's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But But your dad would probably tell you the same thing. You tell people the same thing. It's that fucking, that reward of like, do you know what I mean? That madness is like, it's addictive, isn't it? It's addictive. You know?
Totally.
I
think,
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's showing the gratitude for being where you are at the time, and knowing that it's come from all the hard work you've put in.
Yeah. I mean, I've travelled around the world, played with fucking legends, met so many famous people, been to so many fucking parties on private yachts and all X, Y, Z, doing stuff that people would never dream of, never imagine. And if you tell them, they go, "You're full of shit." Do you know what I mean? So what you do is you put it up on your Facebook and you film it and you make it and you document it. Do you know what I mean? For your own personal log, and also to say, "Look, this is what's going on."
Yeah.
But it's all through playing music.
Yeah.
And picking up sticks.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. And again, you know, we're blessed that even if we never gig again, man, do you know what I mean? The life that we've had to this point is fucking...
Oh, yeah, we've had a good go. I've had a good few years out of it myself. Yeah, totally.
You know, and I appreciate it. And every time I sit behind the drum kit, I don't forget, man. I make that moment, and what I do is I try and make every one of those notes, every single fucking hemi, demi, semi, quaver, right down to the right little fraction, is important, and it's placed, and it's meant, and there's heart in there as well, and there's fucking, and I don't care what the gig is. It could be a local gig at the village hall, playing in front of a load of whatever, or it could be a big festival and live TV, or it makes no difference. I'm still going to play the same way in whatever environment. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to give it my all, and it's that appreciation. I think if you can. I don't know, if you can be excessive in every sense, do you know what I mean? Whether it be practice, performance, whatever, then you're going to get a lot. You know, the more you put in, the more you're going to get out, right?
Yeah, no, totally. That's a great
outlook. That's the idea.
Yeah.
I wish chatting your fucking head off, man.
It's not about me. It's about you, man. It's not. I'm just asking you the question. Yeah. So, like, you can make any drum kit sound like a £1 million drum kit, in my opinion, after seeing you. So, but do you have particular like brands that you use, or like endorsements and stuff, or do you just play whatever? How does it work?
On Glenn's gig, I was using Ludwig.
Cool.
There was talk about getting a Ludwig endorsement, and it was all going ahead. But obviously, since what's happened, I don't know. It's just, you know, we're not thinking about that at the moment. No. But I was at the NAMM show. I was at the NAMM show earlier this year.
Oh wow!
And I bumped into an old pal who runs Natal, Craig, and I first launched at the Music Mess a few years back. I launched the Natal snare drums.
Oh wow!
I did a demonstration doing all the stick tricks and all that.
Yeah.
And from there, I mean, Craig thought that I was still with the company, and I wasn't. I wasn't. He thought that because Craig had moved up in the ranks and done what he got to do. So basically, I saw them in I think it was January or February with the NAMM show was.
Yeah.
So I've been offered the deal with Natal, so to be on their roster. So. Cool. Which I think I'll take up because I know the guys. You know what I mean? You know, it's close to home, and I know the guys. So yeah, but I mean, how can I say? And I shouldn't really say this because you know when you get endorsements and you know, oh yeah, they're the best drums, and I love this, and I love this head, and this and this, and the product. I get it. Right?
Yeah.
But see, with me, I'm going to tell you straight. I think as a drummer. Doesn't matter what you're playing. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it's got to be reliable. It's got to not fall apart, X, Y, Z, yeah?
Yeah.
But it doesn't, as a musician and as a drummer, it doesn't matter if you're playing a pot and a pan. You've got to make that sound fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Whatever that sound is that you're getting, you've got to manipulate that sound to be amazing in whatever shape that may be, whether it be the rhythmical, the phrasing, the velocity, the touch, you know what I mean? The difference in the dynamics of whatever. You've got to give content to that. So it doesn't matter what the fuck you pick up in your, a cup or a fucking, it's got to sound musical.
Yeah.
And that's my idea as a drummer. Do you know what I mean? So then, if you then sit on a fucking £50 drum kit you can still make that sound the bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Because you're just dealing with, you're not playing it. Forget playing a 50-pound drum kit. You're playing a sound. You know what I mean? And out of a 50-pound drum kit, it might sound shit tuned up, but that shit sound could probably, the way you play that shit sound could probably turn into something quite good and quite cool. Do you know what I mean? A flabby old shit snare drum. Do you know what I mean? Boing, boing. But maybe you can use that boing in a certain way. Placement of the note, length of the note, phrasing of that boing, that sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And manipulate that sound to turn it into something which is what you want it to be, not just let the sound be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Totally manipulate it into something useful.
Manipulation of sound. So it doesn't matter what, as a drummer, percussionist, whatever you want to call yourself, a rhythmical person, whatever, you should be able to make anything sound good.
Yeah.
So then when you do get a £5,000 drum kit with all the fucking bells and whistles and all that, do you know what I mean? Then that should enhance. Yes. If you've got better sonic fucking colours to work with and different paints to make your picture with, you know what I mean? And theoretically it should make you so. But I've seen drummers who've got expensive kits and, they make them sound like a bag of shit. So, do you know what I mean? It's a very hands-on thing, isn't it? It's not like with a keyboard where you can press the key and the synthesizer makes the sound.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
It's a human element. And
that's the beautiful thing about the acoustic instruments. And don't get me wrong, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot. Electronics and technology has probably come along. Don't get me wrong, you know what I think of technology, trying to get this fucking phone working. But, things can, I wouldn't say better things, because I don't think electronic drum kits have bettered anything. I don't think they've bettered fuck all. Do you know what I mean? They've got their own place, and they might be more useful in certain areas, maybe for editing or X, Y, Z, or, But the whole point of playing an acoustic instrument is to manipulate that acoustic sound. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, a drum kit, a guitar, or whatever. So you've got to work with the sound that you're given. So in regards to drum kits, what I look for in the drum kit is reliability, durability. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to fall apart. It's not going to break. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, with different woods, you've got different tones, X, Y, Z. But what you've got to think about is, okay, that's good for the acoustic sound. But when you stick a mic on it and you stick it through all the fucking effects and the processors and it goes front to house, that bass drum is not going to sound like it sounds on stage.
Yeah.
So the sound and the feel is for you. It's not for the fucking engineer, because the engineer's going to make his own sound.
He's going to make it sound how he wants it to sound. Yeah.
So that drum kit there is for your feel. Do you know what I mean? So dare I say, you can get a shit drum kit, but if you can make that shit drum kit feel good, then the engineer can fucking process that and make that drum kit, and your playing sound phenomenal.
Yeah.
So it's don't be fooled into just because you have expensive gear, it's going to make you sound good. No, it all comes from you.
It does.
That's the whole thing. It comes from you. So that's my outlook on things. Do you know what I mean? So to top and tail it, for me, it doesn't matter. I mean, I've been in places where they supplied me with gear that you wouldn't fucking, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You wouldn't look at twice. But you get up, you make it work, you do the job. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the audience hasn't got to know if you're playing a fucking 20 grand kit. I mean, or and half the time, a lot of people, unless they're musicians, they don't really care.
They don't care. No, literally, even musicians don't really care, do they? You might get.
No, they don't. You go and tell a guitar player, look at this snare drum, man. This is a £2,000 fucking Babinga fucking mad walnut fucking. He'll go, yeah, great.
They don't care.
Yeah. Can you not put that fill in before the fucking second chorus, please?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because it's throwing me off. I'm going on this lick. So it's Yeah. But drum kit wise, I don't understand like I'm shooting myself in the foot. I'm just being honest. Yeah.
No.
But endorsement wise, gear wise, I'm going to say Natal because they're my mates. Do you know what I mean?
Cool.
And I can just be honest, because I can sit here trying to say, oh yeah, man, this gear's so great and all this and all that. But there's plenty of other fucking people doing that. I'm just going to tell you straight, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like good gear. I like, gear that's reliable.
Yeah, I think that is the most important, reliability.
Yeah, good quality.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't say that I have a particular favourite on cymbals, or I like these cymbals, or I like it. Because if you start saying that, you start limiting yourself.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
You start limiting yourself. You say, oh, I only use Ks, or I only use fucking Do you know what I mean? Fucking 2002's pasty. You know what I mean? I only use those. Well, why do you only use those? Because that's limited. Do you know what I mean? And as a session guy as well, I've gone into studios where you turn up and they'll say, right, we're not going to use this snare drum. They might have a pearl snare drum, but then they bring out a fucking Ludwig. Do you know what I mean? Or they might bring out this one or this one. And it's not about the badge, it's about the sound.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Yeah. Especially in the studio.
So as a musician, this is my point. As a musician, I'll play anything. Do you know what I mean? But as a drummer with an endorsement, I'll play Natal.
Yeah. So cymbal-wise, do you mix and match, or do you just play whatever, or do you they don't normally provide them for you?
On Dane, well, my personal kit, right, that I use and I really like, is a Pearl Masters bass drum,
right?
Two old vintage Rogers toms,
right?
A 12 and a 16, and the snare drums are Ludwig 400.
Oh, nice.
And the two rack toms are brown, like a brown wrap, and the kick drums are natural wood. The snare drum's steel, so it looks like a banana kick. Do you know what I mean? It's like
awesome. Yeah, they call it.
It's like a mix and match.
Jelly bean kits, they call them, don't they? When they mix and match.
So I've got this mix and match hybrid of like different drums. Cymbal-wise, I think I've got a set of. On the left-hand side, this is on Glenn's gig when I first turned up and I just brought my own kit. I had a set of A Customs 14s on the hi-hats.
Yeah.
I had a K ride, and then I had two Stag crashes.
Good cymbals.
And the reason why I had the two Stag crashes is because I love the fucking trashing. And no, I tell a lie. I'm sorry. My left-hand side was a Stag crash, an 18-inch medium thin, which was, for the money, fucking, I think I gave 80 quid or something for it.
Yeah.
What a cymbal. Spread, just fucking tone. Sounded like a dark ride, you know, for the jazz stuff, you know. On the right-hand side, this is no word of a lie. Round by my mother's house, there's like a little walkway, like a little wood place, right? I was walking through the wood with a friend of mine, and I've looked in the fucking hedge in the bush, and someone's thrown a cymbal in the bush.
What?
Straight up, I swear to God, honest to God, there was a cymbal in the bush.
Insane.
And I pulled it out. It's like an 18-inch. It had no fucking writing on it, but and I played it, and it sounded like a fucking Istanbul.
Wow.
And I was like, this must be meant to fucking be. Do you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? So I picked the cymbal out the edge, took it back, put it in my flight case, and I started using it with Glenn because it had so much fucking just, you know what I mean? And so I found that other cymbal in a bush, and that's the God's honest truth.
That's incredible.
That's the God's honest truth. God, that's the truth. Yeah.
So who was
that was
checking bush?
My setup with Glenn. That was my setup with Glenn for the UK when I first joined for the UK tour.
Right.
When we started getting the higher gearing, then it was all Ludwigs,
Right.
all Ludwigs. And the spec was 20. I think, but it depended. It was like 24-inch kick, depending on where we went. But normally it was 24-inch kick drum, 14-inch snare, 12-inch rack, 16, 18-inch floor toms.
Nice.
And the cymbals were all Pace 2002s.
Ah, cool.
All across the top. And that was the generic. That was the same wherever we went. Sometimes I might have a 20-inch kick drum if it was a more modern Ludwig kit which was supplied. Some kits that I had were like old vintage Ludwigs, but were like fucking brand new.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, Vista like fucking. That was in where was that? In Poland. There's a hire company for one in Poland, and I see the kit looked brand new. And it was like, no, it's from 1970. What a drum kit! What a fucking drum kit! Unbelievable. But then again, you know, because you're getting supplied with different kits all the time.
Yeah, you get used to just making them work for you.
There's a difference in feel. There's a difference in feel. I mean,
Yeah.
the cymbals, but even with the cymbals, you know, even though it's the same brand, there'll always be a slight little difference. Like some hi-hats will be more responsive than other hi-hats. And
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Slight, and yes, you know yourself, slight little different changes for a drummer. I mean, how many drummers do you see when they're setting up and they just tilt the cymbal and it's just like a millimeter or something?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah.
If I have to. Yeah.
That millimeter makes all the difference.
Yeah.
For
Definitely.
the feel and how, do you know what I mean? And how you feel within yourself. So when we're traveling around, I'm getting supplied with different drum kits. Do you know what I mean? Even the heads might be same heads, but depending on how much they've been played, do you know what I mean?
They feel different, yeah.
There you go, because you stick a brand new set of heads on for the one gig. You might be doing two or three gigs in the same place or in the same area. You know, if you're in like Netherlands, you might have the same kit for the Netherlands. As those heads, unless you're changing them every day, and even when you do change them every day, there's difference. So I think you've got to be able to. It goes back to the point again. Doesn't matter what you're given, you've got to be able to fucking play it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what it is, and make that kit fucking. And that comes from the musician, from you, not just from the drum kit. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I never really wanted to get used to a kit. Do you know what I mean? And feel like, oh, I can only play on this. You've got to be able to play them all, man.
That's really good. I think a lot of people who are used to playing their own kit need to realize that, because you get to a point where you're lucky enough to get to a level where people hire drum kits in for you, like, and it's different every night. And I'm used to it now. But the first, like, when we started touring with the band, it was mainly using my own kit every night, exactly the same. Getting that angles as close as possible to what you want. That's one part of it, but at least it's going to feel and respond the same. And then
it's a feel. It is a feel thing, isn't it? It is a feel. I mean, even like if your hi hat is just like 2 centimeters too low,
or just open a little bit more, or open a little bit less.
It's all those little, or if the clutch isn't quite tight enough, or it's totally. I know it's mad, or if the felt, or if the cymbal turns and it's not coming back in the right place, or all these different fucking things, man.
Makes a difference.
It certainly does. It's a complete feel thing. But I made a conscious decision to be like, okay, well, it doesn't matter if I jump on your kit, and your kit is set up for you. I don't give a fuck.
You'll make it happen.
I will play it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care.
That's cool.
I mean? If your snare drum is where you have to have it, and I'll work with that, and I'll adapt my technique to make that work.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's it's the best outlook to have, and I think.
Yeah. Well, you watch Buddy Rich, Buddy Rich when he went on these like the Johnny Carson show or something like that, and he'd say, "Hey, buddy, come and play us a song." He said, "Okay, I'll come play," and then the house drummer would have to get off his drum kit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but the house drummer's drum would probably be up here like this. Do you know what I mean? Where Buddy Rich his snare drum was like fucking flat like this.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like angle up. But Buddy Rich would just get on the man's drum kit, not fucking move anything, and blow him out the water.
Class. That's the difference.
On his own setup.
Yeah. That's the difference.
And that was the mentality as well. It's like, it doesn't matter what I'm playing, no matter what the brand is, doesn't matter what the setup is, how many drums you've got, how many little drums you've got. Do you know what I mean? Because the thing is, you could cover a gig on a kick, snare, hi-hat, and a crash.
You can, really. You can do it, kind of, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the fills and everything, you know what I mean? And, if you substitute with the hand and foot combinations and all that, or even play the kick drum with the stick, and do you know what I mean? And, all these different, it's just being adaptable, being spontaneously adaptable as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So all those elements that you've learned, and all those licks and grooves and fills and all those different things, you can just apply to any fucking setup. I think that's for me. That's my outlook.
That's an amazing outlook. Yeah.
It opens up avenues as well. It's like I turned up and did a session the other day at a studio, Magic Garden, Gav Monahan's place in Wolverhampton. Turned up and did this session, and the drum kit was there. Drum kit was set up. I know that I'm going into the studio. I'm getting paid for the job, so they want me in and out. Right, that's what they want. They want the drums done. They don't want me in there fucking setting the drum kit, moving the drum kit for half an hour, because then number one, it's costing them more money.
Yeah.
I mean, number two, it's killing the fucking vibe. Do you know what I mean? Number three, people do want instantaneous fucking results. You know what I mean? So I turned up the other day, and he said, "Oh, the kit's over there." If anything, all I did was raise the snare a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So I wasn't moving this and moving that. Just pretty much left everything where it was. Fucking nailed it. Got listened to the tune 3 times. Made my lead sheet. Went in, played it. Got my money. Went. Thank you very much. And the thing is, the reason why I get hired is because I have that attitude.
Yeah, and it's quick and
And there's no drama, there's no complication, there's no fucking like, oh, I've got this, or I have to do this, or I have to do... No, in, out, bang. Thank you very fucking much. Do you know what I mean?
That's inspiring. I think a lot, people who are listening to this, who think, oh, we got some studio time coming up. You might think of it as, oh, we've got all that time to make a sound, but like, yeah, time is money at the end of the day for whoever.
Time is, well, especially when someone's paying you to get on the job. The thing is, if I go into the session, the guy goes, right, today, what we're going to try and do, we want to get drums down for this track, but we've got, I don't know, we've got fucking 2 string players coming in as well to put this, to overdub these parts. They want you done and dusted. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they want you in and out because that time is money. And whoever's doing the session or whatever, do you know what I mean? They don't want to be hanging around with you trying to get fucking takes. You've got to get in, be efficient, and give them what they fucking want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then if they say to you, okay, can you give me variation? Boom, there you go. Give them variation as well. But you don't be, you got to get in and be direct and to the point. That's what I found in the job. Do you know what I mean? Because the drummer's not the most important person in the band. The guitarist is not the most important person in the band. The whole important thing is again, like this podcast, the song. Yeah. What you bring in is the end product. So, you might think, oh, going to the studio and I've got to do this, or I've got to be this certain way, or I've got to do these certain things, or to make me look like I'm a professional. Listen, the best way to be professional is get the fucking job done. Yeah. Simple. Right? Get in, get out, and don't waste people's time and money. Do you know what I mean? Be nice, be reliable, and don't be a fucking liability. Do you know what I mean? Let people get on with what they got to do. But whatever you provide has got to be like, bang, up there. Do you know what I mean? And the way you get to that level as well is by doing your homework, practicing, knowing your genres, knowing your styles, having your technique down, being on your game. Do you know what I mean? So then when you apply that to whatever you're doing, you can give the most you can give. You know what I mean? In the quickest time.
Exactly. Yeah. That's amazing, man. That's really good advice. Yeah. So thank you.
You look at any of the top session guys, like Vinnie Colaiuta and people like that, or Steve Gadd. Apparently, Steve Gadd, there was I think it was Asia. You know that tune Asia by Steely Dan?
I know it, yeah.
I think he nailed that in one take.
Right.
And sight read it.
That's incredible.
Sniffed off his fucking head. You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean? And the reason why he was sniffed off his head is because he had so many fucking studio sessions in the daytime. That he'd do that to stay awake.
Crazy.
Apparently. This is the stories I've heard.
Apparently, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can, because people can look at these, I used to. You look at legendary players, you think, wow, and this and that, and you get this idea in your head. But when it comes to reality, and real reality, these players are just getting in, doing the job. Do you know what I mean? And then busting off to the next place. Because, in those days, the more studio sessions you could do in the daytime, the more money you earn.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
So you don't want to fuck about, you want to earn, don't you?
Yeah. Do you
know what I mean? But on the same token, you don't want to cut yourself short. You want to give them, and you don't want to misrepresent yourself. You want to be the best you can. So what do? You be the best you can by being on your game. So no matter what's thrown at you, you can fucking nail it. Do you know what I mean? Like Steve Gadd went in and nailed that section, like with a solo and everything, improvised solo in one take. Apparently, that's what I've heard. I might be wrong,
amazing. No, okay, I'll look into that.
But I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I'm right. But listen, you see videos of Vinnie Colaiuta and people like that going in and doing sessions and reading the chart and all that, and they ain't fucking about, mate.
No.
They ain't fucking about. Do you know what I mean? And it's that attitude of like, do you know what I mean? Rather than having it, there's no ego there, is there? With them? There's no ego. There's no.
Yeah, man, that's fucking awesome. I was gonna, obviously, apart from preparation, doing your homework, learning the songs, do you have any like warm up techniques or anything like that? Like,
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. You've got to warm up. I don't give a fuck who you are. You've got to warm up. Simple as that. If you're touring and you're playing 2, 3, 4, 5 shows, a week or whatever, do you know what I mean? You've got to warm up, man. You've got to warm up, yeah? And what I generally tend to do is just nice and steady with a practice pad, a nice simple little practice pad you can put into your bag with a pair of sticks, yeah? You can take on your carry-on luggage and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get a pad, sit before you go on stage like an athlete. You must warm up, right? If you don't, you will fuck yourself up, and it's as simple as that, right? But you've got to warm up in the correct way. Start steady, and then So what I tend to do is just basics, single strokes, work the wrists, nice and steady, bounce, rebound, bop, 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 right hand, left hand, nice and easy, bop, 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 maybe two together, bop, 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 nice and steady, let it rebound, nice and relaxed, open up. Do you know what I mean? No tension, no nothing. You just let everything start easing up and flowing. You get onto a drum kit, right? I don't care who you are, right? You play, and I've done it. I have played shows without warming up.
Yeah.
And maybe you take 2 or 3 fucking songs to warm up and you feel stiff. But you know what? Because you're high on energy and all the adrenaline's running, that's when you start getting cramp and repetitive strain injuries and just fucking blisters and shit like that. Do you know what I mean? It's no good. You know, but what you got to do, if you warm up beforehand, you're loose, you're limbered. So even if you're buzzing and the adrenaline's going, you just had half an hour just getting used to staying loose and limbered. Do you know what I mean? So you're not just going to hit the stage and just suddenly tense up.
Yeah.
You're going to, that adrenaline is going to fuel that looseness, right? And make you fucking fly and pull things out of you that you think, whoa, well, you know, where's that come from? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'll have a better
So
show.
You have to. Minimum half an hour, to an hour warm up before a gig.
Yeah.
Minimum. Because if you think about it, when you're on stage, you know, you're playing full on for an hour and a half, and you just bam, bam, bam. You've got to, man. You're going to get problems. You're going to get problems. So, general warm. Even if you just sit there for half an hour, doing single strokes, right? Because everything that we do really comes pretty much from a singular wrist motion. Yeah. If you think about it, like your single strokes, even a double stroke comes from when you get up to speed. Comes from a singular wrist motion because you're applying the rebound where you get 2 hits from the singular motion. Even a group of 3, molar. Okay, even molar method, down tap up, eventually turns into one motion, that one flow. Yeah. So even if you just do single hits, like a timpani player would do, single strokes, and then work that up. You don't. But worst thing you can do is get onto a pad and start fucking blazing. No good. Steady, warm up, limber up, stretch. You know, and even if you want to do a couple of stretches, and you know, for the back and all that. Do you know what I mean? And
my neck, I get a lot of problems with the neck. I do, like the neck tensing up, and it might be because I play like that.
Like this, and the head's going, and you know what I mean? But again, you've got to warm up, limber up. Just, you know what I mean? Don't just get on the drum kit and fucking flail it out, because you will hurt yourself.
Especially,
you will hurt yourself.
Yeah. No. I've had a few little niggly injuries over the years that I blame on drumming. But yes, you know, I'm sure I could have reduced them. Like I do warm up now, and I do my stretch routines. Yeah. In some situations,
it's just wise.
Yeah, some situations it's difficult. You know, if you've got a changeover, you've got to spend 20 minutes putting your kit on instead of the other guy's kit. That's the problem. I think, like I've always found over the years, and maybe a lot of other drummers at my level find that you're busy doing that, and that you know, you can hurt yourself doing that. You're lifting bass drums over the top of the stage, and that's the optimum time where you should be, like you said, warming up.
What you do is this. If you've got a changeover at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And you've got a 10-minute changeover, and then you're on stage at 4:15. Yeah.
Warm up at 8.
Warm up at 8.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be warm up, and 10 minutes moving drum kit around, you're already warm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean? Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And just before you go on, you just continue. Yeah. 2 or 3 minutes like that, then you just topped it back up. Then you're back in the game. You're still limber.
Good.
But whatever you do,
that's good advice.
Warm up before. Whatever you do, make time. Don't stand around watching the fucking support band. Or
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
It's so awkward, isn't it? Because
because at the end of the day, you've got a job to do.
Yes, you know when it comes to the job, it is your job. Yeah, that's right.
You're not being rude. You're not being ignorant. You're not being egotistical or shutting yourself away or being antisocial. You're doing your fucking job. You're the drummer, mate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, the guitar player should be warming up as well.
Yeah, everyone should.
The bass player should be warming up. The fucking singer should be certainly warming up.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Even more so the singer, because if that muscle goes, then you're all fucked.
Yeah. And the gigs are cancelled. Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
Gigs done, man. Because you know what? You know, a drummer can play through with an injury. You can get through it. You can the pain or whatever. You can get through it. But the singer, you're fucked.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
No, I
also
agree.
guitar players, you know, if your guitar players win, there's cramp for guitar players. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's all whatever you're doing is physical, right? It's a physical thing. You're using muscle groups, you know, and you've got to make sure that those muscle groups are warmed up, ready to go. Because if you don't, you're gonna fuck yourself up, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah,
simple as that. And the thing is, it's all right doing it if you just got one gig on a Saturday and then your next gig's next month.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's all right.
It's not
but
so
if
bad.
you're doing fucking 3 shows on, 1 day off, 3 shows on, 1 day off, mate, you're gonna feel it after in 3 weeks to do a tour. You're gonna feel that shit. You know what I mean? And I've seen it happen. And I've seen people with fucking, you know, plasters all over their hands, and their fucking hands look like they've been to the butchers. You know what I mean?
Just because they haven't been practicing or warming up.
Warm up, man.
Yeah.
Warm up. Assess your technique. Because technique is like a vehicle. This is the way I look at it.
Yeah.
Technique is like a vehicle. If you've got an old banger of a car, right, which, you know, every time you're jumping, you turn the key and you think, fuck me, is this going to start? You ain't getting nowhere, are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you've got a motor that's well serviced, it's got plenty of oil in it, do you know what I mean? The tyres are good on it, do you know what I mean? Everything's tickety-boo, lovely. Do you know what I mean? You can go wherever the fuck you want. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, isn't it? So service yourself and make sure that because it doesn't cost you anything.
No.
And you know what? Forget about all the gadgets and all the gizmos and all this, you know, these pads that make you practice from the... Listen, you have got to fucking do it yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to do it yourself. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of the time, bringing things down to basics, brass tacks, simple ways of looking at things and cutting all the bullshit out. Do you know what I mean? You know, like all these different gimmicks, practice pad, you know, this built in or that built in, or, you know, wear gorilla snot or fucking, you have these mad gloves on you and all. Fucking rubbish, man. Get a pair of fucking 5B Vic Firths, right? Standard pair of fucking sticks, because you can get a pair of 5B Vic Firths anywhere in the world. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, you
that's the other thing as well. You know what I mean? You know, okay, I understand playing. Oh, I like this stick because it's got a certain taper on the neck, or I like this stick because of it. Because fuck it, get a stick which is generic, make that work. So if you get stuck, you know what I mean? If you're in Bolivia and there's only one music store, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna have a set of Vic Firths.
That's a good point. Yeah, very good point actually. Yeah.
There's the other thing. So it goes back to the point as well. It's down to technique. Make everything that you've got work.
Yeah.
And gaining great technique and gaining fucking great ability is for free. All you got to do is sit there and put the work in. That's for free. Never mind buying all this and this gadget and that gadget and this gizmo and this thing will make you play better. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. Do you know what I mean? Fucking pair of sticks and your ability, and that's it.
That's amazing, man. Thanks so much. I did see you had just mention it slightly in case anyone wants to watch it. There's a documentary about you on YouTube.
Yeah.
What was that like? How did like you obviously consented to it because you're in it for the entire thing.
Yeah.
What was it? You know, what was the deal with that? What was that for?
I feel just a couple of lads approached me and said, "Look, we've got this, you know, this production thing, and we want to make a documentary, and we think you're an interesting character, and we'd like to follow you around for a while." So they did, and it's up on YouTube. Is it Express Yourself? It's called Express Yourself.
I think that's it. Yeah. It comes up when you put your name in. When you put your name in YouTube, it comes up.
Yeah. So. They followed me around. I was working the West stand-ups and and they did like an interview in the interview in the tattoo shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, that's If anyone wants to watch it and have a little look at it. Yeah. Because I'm not really like you.
You get to see some good footage of you playing and stuff, so it might be interesting.
Yeah. Or just put in Glenn Hughes, Ash Sheehan, Glenn Hughes drum solo, and you can find it.
That'll be a good one. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I you know, in preparation for this, I thought, I better watch this. But it was
have a little look. Yeah,
it was really cool, man.
I mean, there's a few things. There's a few things online. I mean, how can I say? With the whole like promoting yourself and pushing yourself, and I've been a bit lazy, to be honest with you. Because I've had so much good work already coming in. It's like if you know, you know.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah, why do you need to? Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of the work that I've had it's always come from like, rather than me trying to push out, and I know there's one thing to be said for it, and a lot of players, like people like your Joe Mayers and people like that, you know, have put themselves on a pedestal, and you know what I mean? And there is that element of like, you can go out and be like the clinician, which, don't get me wrong, if opportunity came up, man, I'd fucking put on as good as clinic as anybody else. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, but I've always been working.
Yeah, exactly.
Which fortunately, it's like, so with the whole thing, like, oh, you've got to get a website, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. I'm like, well, what's the fucking point? Because I'm already working with a fucking rock and roll, all the fame legends. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm already in a successful, well-known indie band. You know what I mean? And I'm touring, and I'm doing. And if you know what I do and you want to get into it, you'll find it naturally anyway. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to ram it down people's necks. But I don't know. I'm just a simple kind of fella. Do you know what I mean? I love what I do. Take every day as it comes. If they're paying, I'm fucking playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's it, really. You know what I mean? You know, maybe I will put a website together. Maybe I will start doing a few things. Who knows? I don't know. It's just, I just enjoy everything as it comes. You know what I mean? Like with the Glenn Hughes gig, you know, that just came out of the blue, really. Just came out of the blue, you know.
You never know what's around the corner.
You know, and then but that's the thing. I'd never planned to be on tour with Glenn Hughes for 2 years, traveling the world. I mean, I was intending to travel the world on my own, like doing my own shows. You know what I mean? Which is what I've been doing for years. But within the space of like 48 hours, boom, you're in a band, and the schedule's gone from that to that.
Yeah.
You know, so I like that. I like that uncertainty. I like, in a way, not having a plan.
That's cool. I think that's really good, because I'm one of these guys. I not, you know, just going somewhere with my missus. If I haven't got a plan, like it freaks me out a little bit. Well, that's right. I'm trying to improve it. I'm trying to be like more spontaneous and stuff like that. But man, when it like I'm really lucky to be in the band I'm in. You know, I'm being professional. Yeah. I understand that, you know, we've had a massive kind of advantage.
Do you know what I love to say? You know what I love to say when I see?
Yeah.
You know what I really love to say when I saw you playing, you know, the All Band. I love the fact that it was all family.
Yeah, yeah. Right. Apart from the singer, we're all family.
I really did. I thought, how fucking lucky is that? Do you know what I mean? How great. You know, and from your dad's point of view, he must be very, very, very proud of you, lads. Do you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, and I'm not just saying it. Please believe me, I'm as straight as I come. Do you know what I mean? If
I can tell.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
If I don't say something, do you know what I mean? Honestly, it was so nice to see. A great band, but then you go, well, that's Phil's lads there in the band. I don't know. For me, it just made it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it touched the art a little bit. You know.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of people have the same feeling when they watch us. You know, I think some people might hear of us and not realize it is a family thing, and then they come to a show and then they realize, oh, it's just the three sons in the band. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I know,
which is incredible.
Yeah.
It is incredible, man.
Yeah.
You know, to have and you know, I mean, and you can all play. You know what I mean? That it ain't like you're just in the band because you're like, you know, you're Phil's lads. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you can all.
You know, we've all been playing all our lives. You know, so. We've worked hard, but like what I was saying,
it's a rare thing.
We've got an advantage.
You know, Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons. It's a rare setup.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, you know, apart from the Jackson 5, I don't know.
That's what I mean. It's been done before a few times, you know, but it's not completely unique. But
and the Osmonds,
yeah.
But you know what I mean. But how many people are in a full-on rock and roll band like that? With, you know, how many lads are in the band? As you?
It's me and my two brothers, and then my dad, and then the singer is not related. Yeah, he's not related, but
yeah. But the fact that you've got you and your two brothers and your dad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a lovely thing, you know. It really is. I mean, I'm quite family orientated. I'm a bit of a sentimental old fool, do you know what I mean? But you know, if I could go on tour with members of my family, then I'd be over the moon.
Yeah, but that's the only thing that sucks is my mum. She's at home on her own when we're on tour, and like we feel sorry for her. But otherwise, we get to hang out, and we hang out more on tour than we do at home, so it's great.
I think it stems from me because all my family travelled together performing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? When they came from Ireland, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they were all family together performing in the same shows. You know what I mean? So it's a little similar. It's sort of a similar thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it is.
Because it is. Because I mean, you know, because I mean, talking about like the gypsy thing and all that. I mean, my heritage and my family history. You know, we're Irish travellers. That's, you know, I'm very, very, very proud of that.
Good.
But if you look at bands and music, it's a very nomadic way of life as well. Do you know what I mean? It's, you know, you get on a tour bus, you travel from one place to another, you set up, smash the place.
Yeah.
It is a travelling life. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if you can do it with like family as well, then you're blessed, aren't you? You're blessed.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I know I'm very lucky, so you know, I don't take it for granted at all. Love it. So it's come to the end now. Then what? This is a difficult question. I ask this to everyone. So if you self was on drums, who would be in your dream band? Dead or alive?
Who'd be in the dream band?
Yeah, with you on drums.
My dream band. Who would I have on the dream band? I don't know.
You don't know?
I haven't got a fucking. I don't know.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
It would be a quite a big band.
Yeah, you know, you can have horns and whatever you want in it. You know.
I'd have Miles Davis and John Coltrane in my horn section.
Class, yeah.
yeah. I'd have who would I have on guitar? Guitar player. Who would I have on guitar? Let's see. Django Reinhardt.
Nice.
I'd have Django Reinhardt on guitar. I'd have Jaco Pastorius on bass.
Oh man, he's like my favorite. I used to play a lot of his stuff because I used to learn when I was like 16, 15. I can't remember what exactly. I had bass lessons. I had bass lessons before drum lessons, and I got into all that jazz fusion stuff. And Jaco was so I learned some of his stuff. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah.
Unbelievable, like Teen Town and all that. And
I never nailed that one. I tried. You know, I played a few bars of it. You know, Portrait of Tracy. I used to be able to play that. Do you know that track, Portrait of Tracy?
Yeah.
I play all that.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I need a bit of practice to go back to it, but I used to be able to do it.
Unbelievable, Jack. Yeah, Jack again. Just, you know, so I'd have him on bass.
Yeah. Cool.
I'd have myself definitely on drums. What we got? Keys. Who do we have on keys? Chick Corea. It's all jazz based, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'd have Chick Corea on. Alex Acuna on percussion.
Nice.
Have him on percussion. No, I don't know. I wouldn't know. Alex. I'd have Pete Lockett on percussion.
Okay. Yeah.
You know Pete Lockett?
I know. Yeah. He does a lot of the kind of African ethnic kind of sounds, isn't he, and stuff. Yeah.
I was looking. I had breakfast with him in India as well. I met him at a gig in India. Yeah, man. I was doing a corporate gig in India, and he was playing on the same gig. So I ended up having breakfast. What a fucking geezer he is! Unbelievable he is. Unbelievable. So I'd have him on percussion, Pete Lockett, or
have them both.
I was gonna say Trilop Gertu, but Trilop Gertu is he's probably a bit busy. And I'd have I'm playing one. What else have we got? So guitar player. Yeah, with Django Reinhardt, Jaco Pastorius, Miles and John Coltrane on horns. Actually, I'd have what's his name? Or whatever that. Yeah, Arturo Sandoval on second trumpet as well for the high screaming bits.
Right, who is he?
One of the best Cuban trumpet players ever. Arturo Sandoval. Unbelievable. Who else? I'm not just coming out with fusion names to try and sound fucking.
No. It's a world. I know some of the the main guys like that you've mentioned. But
I'd have all of the Dubliners. You know the Dubliners.
I don't actually. Sorry.
Right, the band called the Dubliners. I'd
Right.
have them in because I'd have Ronnie Drew and Luke Kelly. They'd be doing some vocals. I don't know how it would fit in with these jazz fusion phase. It would be it would be a mad fucking.
Be unique.
That would be a mad, yeah. And I'd probably have Shane McGowan as well.
Awesome.
I'd probably have Shane McGowan as well because that would be like mixing and rock white. I don't know. It's so hard, man.
Oh yeah, it's an open-ended question. It's meant
It's
to be hard.
That's a very, very, very awkward question.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see what people say. I've been fascinated so far, like the variety that come up.
I think
sounds good to me.
I mean, a lot of the top players that it kind of stem from that world. Do you know what I mean? That fusiony kind of. Yeah. But then from like that Irish folk. I tell you what, listen, if you ever want to have a look at something and be impressed by something, drummer or not, there's a video on YouTube called The Octopus Jig.
Okay.
And that's the Dubliners. And as musicians, I'll tell you what happens. The one guy's playing banjo, one guy's playing fiddle. So what they do is they swap hands, right? So the one guy's hand is playing the fiddle, but his other hand is playing the right hand on the banjo.
Oh,
and
my
the
God.
other guy's right hand is playing the fiddle and his left hand's playing the banjo. So they swap over. And then the other guy puts a tin whistle in the man's mouth, and while he's playing both instruments, he's blowing the whistle, but the other guy's fucking playing the keys. And then on top of that, the other guy gets a pint of beer, puts it in the other guy's mouth, and he necks it. But the timing of it, he necks it right at the end of the song. You've got to watch.
I'm going to put it on straight after this now.
Yeah. The Octopus Jig.
Octopus Jig.
And so I'd have those guys in the band as well, doing whatever they wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it would probably be a free form. It would just be free form. There'd be nothing planned. There'd be nothing written. It would just be turn up and just improvise. It'd be a very improvisational kind of setup. Do you know what I mean?
Sounds amazing.
I think if you put those kind of lineup of people together with those mixtures of fucking, you'd come up with some crazy fucking Celtic fusion sounds, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so many players. I mean, I could list so many fucking players, but I think off the top of my head.
Yeah. That's, the first ones that come to mind. That's all we need, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Because obviously they're the ones who stand out the most, don't they, sir?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the reason why they come to you first. So. That's amazing, man.
That'll be my super group. That'll be my super group, I think.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thanks so much for taking the time. I know it took a while to get started.
Fucking hell, man.
We got there in the end, so really.
We got there in the end. It was worth it in the end.
Yeah, and hopefully.
Well, I hope I haven't chatted your fucking ear off and bored the hell out of you. You know
I want to. It's amazing actually, to be honest. So, I always try and make little soundbite videos to promote, and I'm like, I don't know where I'd start with this one. There's so many potential ones I could choose from. But yeah, man,
I'm just trying to be as honest as I possibly can.
That's all I want, and I just want your story and any advice, and just that's the whole point. And I think it's going to be really enjoyable.
Any advice for drummers? Do you know what I mean? It's just just do as much as you can.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that, and just take whatever comes, take it, grab it, and smash it. Simple as that.
That's the way the man says. No, that's amazing, man. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dan.
And check the videos out on YouTube as well if you want to see more. See Ash playing. I'll probably post them up on my social media pages as well for you, so you don't even have to bother searching.
make sure you send my regards to your dad and your brothers, man. Send them
will do. Will do. Yeah. Thank you.
Proper.
Run for the Song podcast.
I'm sure you all enjoyed that episode. Ash is clearly a born entertainer with all the skills and technique that make a great drummer who can show off when needed, but knows how to hold back and just drum for the song as well. Please check out his bands, especially the Dead Sea Skulls. I really got into this stuff. I thought it was really good, kind of catchy, rock music with a little bit of a punk edge. But if you do want to check out Ash kind of showing off his skills, there's a few YouTube videos of him playing drum solos with Glenn Hughes. But I think he's a great example of someone that's just worked super hard all of his life to become the great player that he is. And now he's getting, the opportunities that he deserves. Thanks again for listening. Don't forget to check me out on social media. You can follow Drum for the Song on Instagram or Twitter, or I have personal accounts on there, Dane_drums. Or you can search for Dane Campbell Drummer on Facebook, or join the official Drum for the Song Facebook group. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. I've enjoyed making it, especially this episode. If you'd like to support the podcast even more, you can sign up for my Patreon page, patreon.com/Drum for the Song. Patreon is a great website and app where you can sign up and pay a small donation every month to support my podcast. And in return, I will try and give you some bonus content and exclusive content that no one else will see as a thank you. At the moment, I have 4 different tiers on there, starting from £1 a month and ranging up to £10 a month, with different benefits depending on how far you're going. But yeah, some of the bonuses are monthly bonus episodes, and I've just actually recorded one a few days before this, so that should be ready to go by the time you hear this. I can also give you access to these podcast episodes a day or two earlier than everyone else. I do a monthly group Q&A video call via Zoom. And the top tier, which I have a few patrons for at the moment, is called the Groove Master. And for that, I will offer you a guest list ticket to a Phil Campbell and the Bastard Sons headline show at some point down the line. And I'll give you the opportunity to ask one of my future podcast guests a question and give you a thank you shout out. So at the moment, I will give a shout out to Rudy Pauly, Dean S. Monaghan, Dan Hurst, and Gareth Richards. Thanks very much, guys. Thanks for the support. I hope you're still enjoying the podcast and your exclusive content. But if you don't like the idea of making a monthly donation, it's all cool as well. There is an option via Acast, which is the program I use for the podcast. You can just make a one-off donation if you want to say thanks or buy me a coffee or a beer. You go to supporter.acast.com/drum-for-the-song. Any support is greatly appreciated, but of course the podcast will still remain free for everyone. While you're still here, I could ask a few of you, if you use iTunes or Apple Podcasts or anything like that, if you could leave a review for the Drum for the Song podcast on there. You can give me a 5-star rating and a nice written review, as it helps with the search results. Or if any of you have got an account with YouTube, I've got a channel on there that you could subscribe to. And the little extra bonus of that is that you can actually watch the conversations that I have online via Zoom with the drummers. And sometimes it could be quite interesting because, they use hand signals and things like that. And it's quite cool to see the guys in action. But I think that's all for this week. So appreciate your time. Thanks for listening and getting this far. And if you haven't checked out any of the older episodes, please do. There are episodes with Nigel Glockler from Saxon, Ryan Richards from Funeral for a Friend, Matt Sorum from Guns N' Roses and Velvet Revolver and The Cult, and Moose Thomas from Kill the Lights, and he also used to be in Bullet for My Valentine. So again, thanks for listening, and don't forget to drum for the song!